All right. We're here.
Yes,
we did it.
Love it.
Another episode here of the Industrialist. And today we're going to spend the first hour reading your resume. And then we'll do another show and talk to you.
Oh, I thought you were Raymond Remington, the Industrialist. I love this.
Oh, no. Today, my guest, she's TJ's mom.
Here.
Two-time Naismith Basketball Hall of Famer. BIG3 Head Coach. 2018 BIG3 Champ. Two-time Olympian. That's pretty cool.
Yes, it is.
Nancy Lieberman, Lady Magic. What's happening?
Hey, Jeremy, Red Raider Magic.
Yeah, we didn't have the Magic this past weekend. Dion put it on us. So
well, you were up 13-0, and
we
so
were.
I'm watching in the first quarter, and I'm about dialing Coach Prime and Shador.
Yeah.
And their offense is so good.
Yeah.
It's pretty powerful.
Yeah.
And yeah, you guys are good, right? What were you, 5 or 6-2? 6-2?
5. We were 5-3 going into that game.
5-3.
And so
they're good. I'm leaving Friday. I'm gonna head down to Boulder. Dion will not let me run out with Ralphie. I asked, but I can go out with the team if I choose.
Yeah,
I'm not going to.
Yeah. Go to the locker room, though. Get a little speech time.
I will be pregame locker room, postgame locker room, and he has me at the hotel with the team. So I'm taking the team bus in. My son's coming with me, TJ.
That's cool.
I think that's the only reason he's coming with me is for the Prime Pass.
The Prime. Oh, is that what it's called?
Oh,
the Prime
it's
Pass?
like the Willy Wonka golden ticket.
Yeah.
No, that's pretty stout if you get it.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. No, well, they got they have Fox just following them around right now, it seems like. So they get Fox every weekend at their games.
It is. It's amazing. I'm surprised the game's at 10 a.m.
So what do you think about the rumors of him becoming the Dallas Cowboys head coach?
I cannot confirm nor deny. I'm too close to Dion to even opine with anybody. I think he can coach at any level he chooses. They said he couldn't coach, at an HBCU.
Mm-hmm.
I think he blew that out of the water.
Yeah.
He, goes to Colorado. I think they won 1, 2, 3 games over 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
And he goes, he wins 5 games last year, which was a miracle.
Mm-hmm.
Even though they had a rough end of the season, I think they lost 5 in a row. They just didn't have the size at that next level. You know this, you play football, but, at a Big 12, an SEC, a big level, you got to have big boys.
Yeah.
They just were overwhelmed, especially on the line. And now he got a lot of his players, and they're 7-2.
Yeah.
I think they were ranked 17th in the last poll.
Yeah. Yeah, they were 21 the week before, and then they jumped up, I think. So
yeah. But I got my blender glasses, so I'll be okay.
You'd be cool. So you've coached a lot. So what do you think the differences is going from the major differences in college and professional? Because it's got to be, I would think, some different aspects of player
relationships.
Yeah.
Right now it's so different. And by the way, I know most people don't know this, but I gave Dion his first coaching job in 2005. I was coaching in the NWBL, off-season WNBA, Cheryl Swoops, Tamika Catchings, Tina Thompson, great Hall of Fame players.
Mm-hmm.
And we were coaching the Dallas Fury here. And he had a practice squad to go against us.
Yeah.
He had Kevin Mathis, little man, DB from Seattle, Quincy Carter, Michael Irvin, Dion, and Tony Romo. And it was fantastic. And I was like, Dion, do not let these guys hurt my players. I need you to do what I need you to do.
Yeah.
And when it was over, he says, sis, could I coach with you? And I was blown away that he would say that. I said, yeah, we played 20 games.
Yeah.
10 on the road, 10 at home. And I said, if you can be at every home game,
mm-hmm.
you can be my assistant coach. And he was at every home game.
Yeah.
And the cool thing about him is he said, after the season and Xing and O'ing, he said, sis, I'll never watch the game of basketball the same way because now I understand, the strategy, the analytics, the understanding of what you're looking to do,
mm-hmm.
which is very similar to football.
Yeah. I think a lot of sports have that. There's a whole deeper set of knowledge that if you don't really engage in it, if you're just kind of a casual spectator, you never really understand it. It's kind of like I do jujitsu so much now. Like when I watch a UFC fight, I'm like, oh,
because you see different things,
I see different
angles, footwork,
yeah,
leverage,
a lot of angles. Angles is the big thing, and so it's interesting when you can get into a sport, and I bet he was pretty appreciative that he got to, watch it from your purview and understand that. Right. So
he's so smart. He's one of the smartest people I've ever been around. And, just to be able to see him come back, and I'm going to answer your question. I took it the long way.
Yeah.
But when he said he was coming back to play at the age of 37, he called me. It was like the middle of the night. And he's like, sis, can you come to the house? And he told me, because I played in the W at 39.
Yeah.
So he knew what it's like for me to come out of retirement. And he's non-discriminatory.
Yeah.
He wanted to know, how you feel, my mental, my physical. Was I afraid? Was I not? But the most important thing is I needed to look at his wife at the time, Pilar, and say, baby, he's not going to be carpooling the kids.
Yeah.
Okay. He's not going to be throwing out the garbage. Don't expect date night. I'm just telling you, Dion's your husband, but Primetime built the house and Prosper.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's two different entities here. Now he's going back, to the Ravens. And he is Deion Sanders.
Yeah.
So there's an expectation of who he is. Knowing Deion the way I do, he's such a interpersonal relationship guy that when practice is over, he's taking all the rookies for lunch. He's buying them their first suit, and he's teaching them the nuances of what it's going to be like to be a pro, what to stay away from, understanding what women are out there and what maybe some women are looking for, to be on scholarship. And, he was really teaching. Then he would go have lunch with grandma and auntie. That's who Deion Sanders is. And that's why he walks into a room, a home, and it doesn't matter, what your ethnicity is. People fall in love with you because he's going to tell you the truth. He's going to tell you, this is what I'm going to do for your son. I'm going to take a person and develop them into a man. We're going to make him play football because if he can't play football, he's not going to play here.
Yeah.
But he's going to get, the full film of what you can be, especially as a young Black man. And he's really amazing. I've known him for maybe 25 years.
Yeah.
I've never heard him curse. And
Really?
I'm like, effing this and bombing this. And like when the sun comes out in the morning, I've never heard him curse.
Yeah.
He is different.
Yeah. Well, it's obvious. He's always been different, so just from a spectator, he's definitely different on the field and he's different as a coach, so that's pretty cool. The insight you have to know him, but, well, it sounds like it'd be a fun weekend.
Yes, it's going to be great.
I think they totally cover and stomp Utah. Utah was picked to win the Big 12 in the very beginning, but now they're on the skids.
But you can't let down because this team now is primed to be a bowl contender, and potentially to win the Big 12 or to be in that championship game, which I would put the house up for sale. That the media said this is what was going to happen for Colorado and Deion. Tom George. My hat goes off to you, the AD, for what he's done. Rick George, is it right? I think it might be Rick.
I can picture him, but I can't remember his name.
But to give him the autonomy to do what he's doing. And so, Deion really wanted the Florida State job at his alma mater. And he was pretty upset. He thought that they, kind of used his name and cachet. And, Old Dominion did that to me once, and it really ticked me off. You bring me down there, you interview me, but you're afraid of me.
Yeah.
You're afraid of Deion because we're big personalities.
Right.
And then you give the job to somebody else, but you tell the world you interviewed us.
Yeah.
And, sometimes, and I love Old Dominion, but I felt that was disingenuous. And the same thing with Deion at Florida State. He'll get to where the good Lord wants him to be. That man is faithful, and he knows the direction he's being pulled to. He can go anywhere. Could he coach the Dallas Cowboys?
Mhm.
Yes. He has the respect of the players. In today's world, when players are making more than the coach, they want cachet. They want to know you did something that they did.
Yeah.
It's a different era. It's just the way it is.
Proof of concept.
Yeah. Look what happened in Indiana. You have Caitlin Clark, and she comes in her rookie year and is just amazing, changes everything in the course of history for women's basketball. And they're like, we got to level up. So they bring Kelly Krauskopf, who was with their team as the president when they won the championship. I don't know, maybe 2016 with Tamika Catchings.
Yeah.
Then she goes over with Pritchard to the men's side and learns like the assistant GM. And now she is now back as president of the Indiana Fever. You know, they let Cindy Sides go, the head coach. Now they bring Stephanie White. You got to level up with your talent.
Yeah.
And where you want to go with your program. And you have something very unique and very amazingly scary with Caitlin and her fan base. I was watching her play golf today in the Pro-Am, with Annika. And she's got the most beautiful swing.
Yeah.
And we were texting last night to each other. I'm like, this is going to be fun. She was, I can't wait. I'm like, just make sure you enjoy yourself. And she, she's like, yes, hits me with a heart, hey, say hi to Annika. The things that are opening up to her, but she has such a mastery of being kind and humble and understanding what is in front of her. It's very, very unique and great parents.
Man, I'll tell you what, she did a great job at just kind of like, I don't know, just taking the punches all season. And like every interview she did, she never got mad. She never lost her cool, ever. It didn't ever seem like in anything. And that's what a quality, to have that, because she got a lot of firepower thrown at her this year, it seems like.
Oh, yeah. 32% of all the flagrant fouls in the WNBA this year were on Caitlin Clark.
Yeah.
So, I mean, she and I would have handled things differently. I'm a street kid from New York. We're probably going to get in a fist fight. Yeah. There's probably going to be a few words coming out of my mouth. I might get suspended. And she was just pristine. Yeah. Yeah, she's great. I love her.
You mentioned Tamika Catchings. When I was in high school, Duncanville was in my district, and she's a basketball player. But I just remember her as a volleyball player because she would just absolutely crush it. Like when she came up to spike, I remember watching just always play our girls, and it was just like, she was incredible, man.
You see her body then and her body now, and she's been retired, 7-8 years. So I'm having my basketball camp years ago at Bishop Lynch High School here, and there's this girl. We always have pickup games after. I'm in my 20s. Yeah. And this young person, she's like 14. She goes, can I play? Yeah, sure, whatever, Well, it's Tamika Catchings. Yeah. And before she went to Tennessee. And we were battling. I'm thinking, son of a gun, this 14-year-old is good. She's strong. She's, my size. Then she goes to Tennessee. And I talked to Pat Summitt. And I'm like, I was playing pickup with her when she was 14. She didn't quit. She plays hard. She just has a great understanding of the game. She's one of the real cool cats in the history of sports and women's basketball. I love her. Yeah, I know.
It's always cool when you grow up and you get to watch someone and then they become someone, and you knew when she was on the field, she was different, or the court, you could tell she was different than everybody else out there. So
you're going to make me call her now because I didn't even know she played volleyball. In all the years we've known each other, I had no clue she played volleyball. Yeah,
I remember watching her, man. She was amazing.
And her dad, Harvey Catchings, who played in the NBA. And so I'm doing TV for ESPN. She's at Tennessee. So I, dial the number to American Airlines, and the, agent gets on the phone. I'm like, hey, I need a flight from Dallas to Tennessee, to Knoxville. And I'm talking to the woman. I give her my name. I go, hi, it's Nancy Lieberman. And she goes, Nancy, I'm Tamika Catchings' mother. It was crazy. She was the agent on the phone. I said, yeah, I'm going down to do the game. She was, I'm so mad. I can't get down there. And It's a small world, right?
Yeah. Yeah. That's interesting. Well, so you mentioned this, you grew up in New York, and when did you know like basketball was your thing? Like when did that click one day?
It wasn't until I was maybe 9, 10 years old because football was my first sport.
Yeah.
And it was awesome. Like I was a poor kid, no father, days we had no food, no heat, no electricity. So I would go out and play ball with all the guys.
Yeah.
And so they had like a little sandlot league. So we go to the thrift shop, and there is a New York Jets football helmet, but it's a lamp, and it has a little wood base. And I look at it and I said to my mom, can I buy that? And the guy goes, it's a quarter. No joke. It's a quarter. So we buy the lamp. I take it home. I unscrew the bottom of the base. I take the wood off. I pull the lights and, the wires. I put towels in it, and I took duct tape, and I showed up for tryouts the next day. They said you had to have a helmet.
Yeah.
Well, I had a helmet. So I get the ball, and I'm running back a kickoff, and this guy put his helmet in my stomach, hit me so hard. I went backwards. It felt like I couldn't breathe because I got hit right in the gut for it was probably 30 seconds. It felt like, 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And I get up, my helmet split in half. But the tape was still on my chin, and there were towels everywhere. I was so embarrassed, and I didn't say nothing. I just got up, I picked up my towels, and I went home, and I rang the doorbell, and my mom looks at me because the helmet is still hanging from my chin on each side. And she looks at me, she goes, "What did you do with the lamp?" And I said, "It's not a lamp. It's a football helmet." And it broke because it was plastic. And I went in the house, and she's like, "What? That was a very good lamp." So I then morphed into baseball.
Yeah.
I could have played on our high school baseball team at Far Rockaway High School. Matter of fact, I was a Cal Ripken Jr. A week ago doing an event for him in Baltimore. And I was telling him about, baseball and what it was my best sport by far.
Yeah.
But then I was able to make the Olympic team in high school. It's, Pan Am's at 16, Olympics at 17, and then get a scholarship to Old Dominion at 17. So I had to give up football and baseball, and then basketball just became my everything.
Yeah. So talk about the Olympics. That's got to be a pretty special thing to be a part of.
It's crazy. I remember going into the stadium. First of all, I remember being selected, and you're in the dorm where you've been trying out in Missouri, Warrensburg, Missouri, home of the Warrensburger, by the way. Why do I remember this random stuff? And if you ate like a 70-ounce hamburger or steak, you got it for free.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm like there, and they post the list, and we knew the list was coming out, and I was so nervous. And there it was. My name was on the list of one of 12 going to Montreal to the Olympics.
Yeah.
And I remember being I didn't really know how to react, because I was so young. So back then you had collect calls. There was a payphone, and I picked it, and I went and I started punching 0 in the number, and I said, I need to make a collect call to Alberta Cox, who was the woman in 1974, cut me. And as I was going home as a 15-year-old, "Now, Nancy, you work hard because we're going to need you in 1980. And I went, I'm not that smart, but I know 76 comes before 80. And I was so mad at her for telling me what I couldn't be instead of encouraging me.
Yeah.
I, boom, 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 collect call to Alberta Cox. The operator goes, collect call for Alberta. And I go, "I'll accept the charges." And the operator clicks off because she thinks it's her.
Yeah.
And she goes, "Who is this?" I go, "Coach Cox, it's Nancy Lieberman. You remember me? You told me I wasn't going to be good." And I was so New York. And she goes, "Oh, Nancy, I never said you weren't going to be good. Great, because I just want to tell you, remember like 76 comes before 80? The list is on the wall, and I just made the 76 Olympic team, and I just wanted to call you and thank you for making me so focused because you didn't believe in me. It's great to talk to you. And I hung up. They still talk about that at USA Basketball.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit more shined up than I was at 15.
Though, sometimes I've seen in real estate brokerage, I've seen some brokers get fired from somewhere and they turn out to be incredible at the next place they go. So sometimes maybe you don't think that's what you needed to hear at the time, whether it was correct or not. But when you hear it, it totally changes your mind to be like, oh hell no, And so I don't know. That's pretty funny though. You called her.
Yeah. They have a few things I've done in my life that, thank goodness, there was no social media, no podcasts, no Industrialist to hop on and embarrass myself. But what it does in business, in sports, in anything, your vocation of what matters to you.
Mm-hmm.
Like I always tell people, they were like, oh my gosh, I can't believe, you did this or that or the Olympics and, played in men's leagues, played for the Lakers, played for the Jazz. I was like, look, I didn't have my prime in the W. I missed 17 years of my prime playing against you guys.
Yeah.
Bigger, stronger, quicker, more athletic. And I'm athletic.
Yeah.
And somebody said, that's crazy. You must have been just a dog. And I said, I'm not a dog. I'm a wolf because wolf eat dog. They're like, we don't want to get on your bad side.
Yeah. Well, when you got out of Old Dominion, you got to go play. I guess there really wasn't the WNBA yet. It was kind of a couple different leagues for a couple of years, right? So it's kind of almost like you're kind of traveling around as leagues come up, right? Is that kind of how it was, or?
Yeah.
And then eventually it finally forms, and you get into that. What about coaching in the NBA? How was that versus coaching other teams? Like, was there any? Were you the second woman coach?
Second, Becky Hammond was the first with the Spurs. I think it was 2014. Then 15, the Sacramento Kings hired me. But those instances where I didn't play, I didn't have a pro league like you. Like I got to Dallas in 1980 because of the WBL, Women's Basketball League, first one ever. And I'm grateful that Dallas drafted me. But before I came to Dallas in late August, early September, I played for the Los Angeles Lakers. Pat Riley was my coach in Summer League, and he didn't want me. And Dr. Buss and Jerry West were like, hey, she's coming, she's going to play. So you never know whose life you're influencing. And I found this out later in life where Pat used to tell people, when I was nervous, when I was scared, I would think of Nancy. And I was like, what are you talking about? He said, every day, these guys were bigger, stronger, faster, jump higher. And every day you came in the gym for 3 weeks and you acted like you're the best player on the team. And I was like, wait, I wasn't? Seriously? But that's how it was, like our first practice. And he did not want me because it was his first coaching gig.
Yeah.
And he came out of the TV booth and he's like, I don't want her. In his mind's eye, I was not the person he thought could run his team. He was probably thinking of a black male or a white male, but not a redheaded white girl.
Yeah.
And when they forced me on him, I was just a baller. I didn't know politics. So he said, I need 5 guys on the floor. I would run out the first 5. And so I got repetition. I made mistakes. He coached me up. I got more repetition. I understood what he wanted out of his offense. And I'd walk off the court to the second 5 and I would look at it and go, hey, if you don't know how to do that, I do. And I'll be more than happy to help you. So, right, leadership now, which somewhere down the line took me to coaching.
Yeah.
And so they get, I didn't realize this until COVID, and they had like the Laker, all the documentaries.
Yeah.
And that was when I was playing for the Lakers.
Yeah.
So it kind of pulled information together that I was not privy of what was happening behind the scenes. But it was great because I remember Jerry going in the locker room with Pat Riley, and they're arguing. Jerry West.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want her here. And they're like, okay, so you have practice tomorrow. What are we going to do? They beat the hell out of her for 3 hours. She didn't cry. She got up. She tried to start 2 fist fights. She's telling players what to do, where to go, how to run. And they said, good. And Pat tells the story, and he goes, and 4 days later, she was my starting point guard because she could run my stuff.
Yeah.
So you never know who you're influencing in life.
Yeah.
Even if it doesn't look like that can work for you. And that has been a great teaching tool for me because I coached in the WNBA, with the Detroit Shock, took an expansion, took them to the playoffs in year 1. But it taught me how to communicate with people because I know how coaches communicated with me. I mean, I played for Pat Riley. I played for Jody Conrad. I played for Pat Summit. I played for so many great Hall of Fame coaches, Sue Gunner. And, the ones who would give you the why, like you could yell and scream at me and be tough on me. I'm okay with that. I'm not a wah, they don't like me. I just come back the next day and play harder.
Yeah.
And sadly, I would play harder against my teammates and really beat the crap out of them in practice because I was taking my anger out on them like I did when I was younger because I was broken from my childhood. I would take it out on other people.
Yeah.
But it helped me have conflict resolution and understand people. You have to meet people where they are.
Yeah.
And it's helped me because whether you're coaching guys or gals, this is their livelihood. Like in the NBA, I had Rondo, I had DeMarcus Cousins, Willie Cauley-Stein, Seth Curry, Rudy Gay. I mean, we had some really unbelievable players who have made hundreds of millions of dollars in the league. But at the end of the day, they're just guys.
Right.
They're babies. You guys are baby boys and you want to be loved. You want to be cared for. You want some tough love. And every day, like I'd walk in the gym and see who I could just look at their face and I would just walk and stretch with them while we were going up and down the court. Marcus, you okay? How are the kids? How's the baby mama? Everything going okay?
Yeah.
You want to be checked on, right? You want Tam to check on you, make sure you're okay.
Yeah.
And while you're doing amazing stuff for everybody else. And so that's how, even now in the big 3, I've had Big Baby Davis and Birdman, Chris Anderson and Corey Maggette, Katino Mobley, Quentin Richardson. I've had amazing players and they're just human beings.
Yeah.
But my job is to push you to make you a little uncomfortable. It's the same thing with my son, TJ, who plays with me, for me. Mm-hmm. That's a battle, right? 3 years in the big 3, he's been with me. And there are days I'm sure he doesn't want to talk to me.
Yeah. Yeah. I go through that a lot right now with my son with football because I'm just like, I'm like, you need to do this. And,
they don't want to hear it.
They don't.
They want you to hear them.
Yeah. And so I'm trying to back off a little and be like, hey, what do you think about this? Maybe make this your idea, and it's funny. A buddy of mine that I played with in college, his son's playing at Tech right now. And this buddy of mine, he played NFL for 4 years. And he was like, my son finally came to me the other day and said, Dad, I need to put on weight. He goes, I've been here the whole time. I played in the NFL. Like, I know what I'm talking about, but would never listen to me, but now he will listen to me.
But it has to be, it has to be on their time.
Yeah.
In what they're feeling. That happened with me with my son. I mean, he was a kid always messing up basketball camp or when I was, skill and drilling like we do with your baby. Mm-hmm. TJ was the one who was, just terrorizing everything we were doing. And one day it clicked. Will you help me? And we made a deal. You're not going to yell at me. You're not going to curse at me. It's not going to be easy.
Yeah.
Trying to get somebody to be good or great. It's a discipline. It's it's a hunger. I'm not big on participation awards. I think there's a league for people who just want to play.
Yeah.
But if you want to get a scholarship to college, or you really want to compete at the highest levels, you have to be uber focused. And TJ flat out has said to me, I don't want to be a Hall of Famer. I don't want to be the GOAT. I don't want to be great. I just want to play at my highest level. And I had to back off because, Kobe's the same way with Gigi.
Mm-hmm.
He was pushing her to greatness. That's just, look, the Mamba mentality. Kobe called me the Mamba.
Yeah.
Because, he knew, I have venom.
Well, I think if you want to play at any kind of higher level, it takes such an intense burning desire to do it that everything else is kind of secondary at that point. And I don't know if maybe, people are too comfortable with things or something like that, and maybe because, so you're talking about a lot, you said this earlier, this is their livelihood, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, I think a lot of people view that as their livelihood before it is their livelihood. And I think you have to take that approach too, because, at some point you're not getting paid to do any of this. And I just think about like when all I cared about was going to college to play football. That's all I wanted to do. And I would read every single program of every single college every night. Like I knew everybody that played, where they were from, what high school they went to. I just, I studied when I couldn't be playing, I was studying it. And that was, I think if you don't have that kind of burning desire, then you can get far, but you can't get maybe as far as you want to go. So I don't know I don't know if that's, I think you can develop desire to a degree, but someone has to want it really bad.
Yeah. I say this to parents. I say it to my son. I'm not here to start your engine.
Yeah.
I can coach you. I can make you better. I can make you a better business person.
Mm-hmm.
I can introduce you to, 40 multimillionaires and billionaires, but you have to do the lead up to it.
Yeah.
And you have to be disciplined. As much as I love, some people in my inner circle or my kid, I will not risk my reputation if I don't feel like you're going to hold up your end of the bargain.
Yeah.
I won't do it. And it's, if TJ couldn't play, he would not play for me. And if he doesn't play and he doesn't play well or what we need, I could trade him.
Yeah.
Those things, and people are like, I can't believe she traded her kid. It's always on the table, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Doc Rivers traded Austin.
Yeah.
It happens in life.
Yeah.
So, I have to still do my job because people trust me at the highest level of this industry, and people trust me in business. People are like, oh, Warren Buffett. I said, yeah, and I know the gecko too. Because, Berkshire owns, they own Geico.
Yeah.
But, he trusted me to speak at his shareholders meeting years ago. And I think he regrets it. But, this is Warren Buffett. Yes, you look who's around the table, right?
Yeah.
Bill Gates and Elaine Wynn. People from all over the world. So I felt a tremendous responsibility to be great. I think the guy that spoke before me was Roger Staubach.
Yeah.
And the guy who spoke the year before that was, I think, Magic Johnson.
Yeah. It's a pretty good company.
It's amazing. Well, he knows everybody, right? Everybody, he's the Oracle of
Well,
Omaha.
he knows everybody, and he picked you out of all those people too. So that's what I'm saying. It's a pretty good company. Pretty telling for you.
He's been a good friend.
So, a couple questions then for you. What was a moment? Was a setback for you that was pretty defining that you learned from?
That's a great question. I had never been cut from anything, and they opened the Olympics up in 1988 to professionals. So I decided to come back and try to play on the 92 Olympic team. So I make the 89 U.S. team, make the 90 I think 90 US team. No, I made the 90, 91, and then we're getting ready for the Olympic team in 92. And I got cut. And I was like, how can they cut me?
Yeah.
And it's not like I was 40. I was like 29, 30 years old.
Yeah.
But I guess they thought I aged out. And I remember talking to Pat Summitt. I was pretty upset after being cut. And I said, how did this happen? And she said they wanted to let the next level, the future play. I said, okay, well, so here I am in 1992 and I get cut from the U.S. Olympic team. And then all of a sudden, by the grace of God, the WNBA starts in 1997. Mm-hmm. And miraculously, I was selected by the Phoenix Mercury in the elite draft. Mm-hmm. So, I sucked apparently in 92, but I got exponentially better in 97. So it's the Olympic Committee.
Yeah.
And they figured, Cheryl Miller, Lynette Woodard, Nancy Lieberman, you had your time. No, you don't get to tell me when I have my time.
Yeah.
For us 29 or 30-year-olds to get in that type of shape, to play in Colorado Springs with high altitude against, 20, 21, 22-year-olds, just don't say this is who we're going with just because.
Yeah.
And so it fueled me to want to play in the W and not be retired.
Yeah.
And I'm really lucky because I played at 39 in 1997. And then I played at 50 in 2008 for the Detroit Shock. Because I wanted to show my kid what his mama did for a living, not just TV.
Yeah.
And I wanted to prove to myself, that I could still compete on this level, even though I know I'm not what I was, but I am once what I was.
Yeah.
And so that's what I wanted to do. And I had a great time. And it gave me closure because Dion had this issue. The reason why he came back at 37 years old is because he went to Washington to play for Marty Schottenheimer. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what happened there, but it was a bad relationship. So when Dion, quit, he quit and he didn't go out on his own terms.
Yeah.
And so he gets to go to the Ravens, play, be a good mentor, help guys get to the Hall of Fame, play with Ray Lewis and those guys. And then he got to go out on his own terms. And there's something to be said for that in sports.
Yeah. What's the best piece of advice you ever received?
Best piece of advice that humility is confidence, arrogance isn't.
Yeah.
Of course, Ali told me service to others is the rent you pay for your time here on earth.
Yeah.
And, he was my mentor, my role model, and it's crazy to say, my friend for 37 years.
How did y'all's relationship form?
I fell in love with Ali when I was 10, and I saw him on TV, with Howard Cosell. I'm the greatest of all times. But I beat George Foreman, and I beat Joe Frazier, and he starts rattling off these guys. So I go in the kitchen. I look at my mother and I go, I'm the champion. I'm going to be the greatest of all times. And she goes, why are you talking like that? I don't know, but I'm going to be the champion of the world and I'm going to be the greatest. And and I'm like, I'm going to knock you out. I'm going to knock you out. She goes, Nancy. So I ran in my room and I cried. And so I studied Ali from all the way. I go to college. Mm-hmm. We win back-to-back national championships. I'm two-time player of the year in college basketball. Going into my senior year, I'm asked to go to New York to the New York Stock Exchange. And there's a fundraiser for the Olympic Committee. So I'm going up the escalator with this guy, my mom and my best friend. And I said, so who's the other, I'm fake having confidence because I'm still broken. I go, so who's the other athlete with me? He goes, yeah, we're going in the green room. I go, so who's the other athlete? And he goes, yeah, it's you and Muhammad Ali. I couldn't believe it. The door opened and it was like Oprah and that glow over him. And I'm telling you this story now.
Mm-hmm.
And this happened in December of 79. And it's like it was yesterday. And I'm staring at him and I walk away and my mother goes over and goes, Mr. Muhammad, I'm Rini from Far Rockaway. And my daughter is the greatest of all times. He goes, listen, lady, there's only one greatest of all times. It's me. No, Mr. Muhammad, I know you're good. But my daughter, only a Jewish mother. And he calls me over. I'm looking down. I can't breathe. I cannot look him in the eye. And he goes, your mom says you're good. And I just look him in the eye and go, I'm the greatest of all times. And he just looks at me and he goes, there's two of us? I said, yeah. Oh, and Mr. Ali, I beat up everybody. I'm in fist fights every day. And he goes, what? I go, people irritate me because, like I'm poor and I don't have stuff. And so I beat him up. He goes, I'm going to ask you to stop fighting. I said, you fight. He goes, I get paid to fight. So he was the first person who looked beyond me.
Mm-hmm.
And we go back to the Plaza Hotel that night. He asked us to come back. I'm there 4 hours with him in his suite. He taught me about racism. He taught me about what hurts, Black America.
Uh-huh.
He taught me about philanthropy. He taught me about being an entrepreneur and being an everyday champion. And the greatest part of the whole story is, he goes, Nancy, God made you special. And I look at him and I go, you know God too. You know everybody. So what is he like when you're with him? I mean, I think it mortified him.
Yeah.
I was 20, whatever. And he goes, I'm going to need your phone number and, landline and your home address.
Mm-hmm.
And we swapped information.
Yeah.
He was calling me in college, Nancy, it's the champ. I saw that article in Sports Illustrated. They did 13 pages on you. And he goes, I have it. And you talk so nice about me. And he actually read the feature that SI did. And he just, every big thing in my life, I would go, Muhammad, I'm thinking about going. There's a WNBA, but there's the ABL. I think you should go to the W. You take a little less money. You go to the W. I'm thinking about coming out of retirement playing. I think you should go play, but make sure it's on national TV.
Yeah.
He would guide me. So this is my last thing with Ali. Lonnie would call me, his wife, and say, baby, he's here. He'd like to see you. I get on an airplane, fly to, Phoenix. I'd go to the house. I would hug him. I was like a 2-year-old every time I was with him. I'd hold his hand and I'd just say, Mr. Ali, I love you so much. And I said, I came out of retirement more than you. And he'd how he'd bite his lip and with the finger. And he's like, I said, stop with the lip. Okay, stop biting your lip and pointing at me. You just upset. Because I came out at 39 and 50. So she goes, he's been waiting all day for you. And that's the first thing you lead with. And so, he passes away. I go to the funeral. Mm-hmm. And I'm sliding into my row. Billy Crystal, who spoke at the funeral, but I'm there. And I slide in and there's this guy. And he goes, hi, I'm King Hussein from whatever, Saudi Arabia. Mm-hmm. Hi, hey, King, how you doing? Nice to meet you. I said, hey, I'm Nancy Lieberman. I'm a king. And he looks at me, he goes, you cannot be a king. You're a woman. You cannot be a king. I said, no, sir, I'm a king. He goes, this is not right. And we're having this conversation. Billy Crystal standing next to me. And he's like, you've got to be kidding. And I go, King, Nancy Lieberman, Sacramento Kings. And he just starts laughing. Billy thought it was the funniest thing.
Oh, it's funny.
You cannot be a king. Yes, I'm a Sacramento King.
What was the line you said that Muhammad taught you about service?
Service to others is the rent you pay for your time here on earth. What can I do for you? How can I help you?
Yeah.
And Nancy Lieberman Charities is all about Ali.
Yeah. Okay. So that's where I want to do.
The pillars.
Yeah.
The dream courts, the sending kids to college, the communication, right? The Louisville Lip is our lecture series, racial, social lecture series. Let's have conversation. You've been to Dream Ball,
Mhm.
and you've seen some of the great athletes that have been there, and,
Mhm.
and celebrities that have given their time to be with us.
Yeah. Well, so explain Nancy Lieberman Charities a little more, just so everybody can understand everything that y'all do. So,
Well, there's some really great charities in this world. We can't cure cancer. We can't cure horrible diseases, but we could take a perfectly wonderful young kid who unfortunately grew up in the hood or grew up underserved. You're looking at her.
mhm.
I'm the kid who had nothing. People put money in a can in 1974 to send me to the Olympic tryouts because I didn't have money to go.
Yeah.
And sometimes if you generously just give and just give from your heart, you can change somebody's life trajectory.
Mhm.
So if I'm a concentric circle, the dot, Nancy is a baller. No matter what people around the world say about me, and I've been around for 5 generations, and people are so kind. But I'm a baller. If
Mhm.
everything goes to hell in a handbasket, that's who I am. But then I'm a mom. I'm a philanthropist. I'm a
Mhm.
TV commentator. I'm a
Mhm.
coach. I'm a former, so it gets layered out, and you expand, your bandwidth of people that you get to know.
Mhm.
So it started with just a court, to bring kids to a court so they could feel comfortable for mental health. They could breathe. And so we started building these dream courts because it was my dream to be on a court, because you can no longer make fun of me that I was a girl playing with black kids, a white
Mhm.
girl, redheaded Jewish kid playing with, everybody had something to say.
Yeah.
And so the dream courts started out just the court. And then we realized that it was more than a court. It was, really a pop-up classroom, because I was not a good student at Old Dominion because my major focus was hanging banners. That I needed that more than the kid next to me,
Yeah.
because I had to be a something in this life.
Yeah.
So I'm a critical thinker, not because of school. I'm a critical thinker because of how I thought on the ball field: football, baseball, basketball, inertia, angles, arc. And more importantly, I understand that if I have more points than you, I win, you lose. And being responsible, showing up on time, just having those core characteristics of what you'll need in life, just being a good human being.
Yeah.
And then we realized, okay, so we started putting accredited programming. We have STEM, we have financial literacy, we have kids and cops, we have career readiness and civic engagement. So we give this, we have it in e-versions as well as the physical.
Mhm.
And then, again, God's hands on everything for me. But we got to a point where I'm like, we're not a dream corps. We're a communiversity. People were born to commune.
Yeah.
You don't want to be here at Matador by yourself.
No.
You can't. Nobody can do any. No matter how great you are in life, you can't do it by yourself. Not Michael Jackson, not Tiger Woods, not Jeremy Mercer, not Warren Buffett. You need people
Yeah.
to do certain things in life. So we bring kids to this court, and here we are in 2024. We have 132 dream courts open around the country. We have
Wow.
2 in Hawaii, and we serve over 5.5 million young people. And we look at them. We have metrics, measurable, and outcome. We stay in touch with the organizations, how they're doing. We've sent 110 high school seniors to college.
Yeah.
So we have graduating classes. And again, they have my cell, they have my email, they have to stay in touch with me. We just don't pay for them. You owe me 4 hours this semester. So we hook them up with, social workers, police chiefs, deputy mayors. You get to shadow them each semester. The Racial Social Justice Lecture Series has been amazing because we go to HBCUs. There's 200-300 people there. It's kind of fun because I've been like at Wiley College with the women's basketball coach, who we just lost to breast cancer. She was a great friend. Played for Pat at Tennessee. And there was this one African-American woman when I was sitting on the stage, and she gets up and she starts giving me the hip. Why are you here? And I went, why are you here? She wasn't ready for that. I said, I have a choice too, baby. And my choice was to come here, to Wiley College.
Yeah.
She goes, well, I don't understand what you have to say. Well, give me an hour. When we're done, after an hour, if you don't like what I had to say, if you don't like what Coach had to say, then you don't have to come back, because I'm coming back to Wiley.
Yeah.
But you don't have to come back here.
Yeah.
Well, people started clapping because and I looked at her, don't you hate to be profiled?
Yeah.
You're profiling me.
Yeah.
That's not cool. And when it was all said and done, Big Mama gave me a hug and a kiss and thanked me but that's communication. Love is love is love, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
The greatest religion in the world is love and kindness.
Yeah.
It could be my smile. It could be a touch. It could be just how we interact with people on the regular. And that's what I try to do. I'm not going to be like, well, I'm Nancy Lieberman, I got 10 bodyguards. No. No, I'm not doing that. The other night I was having dinner with some people at the Dallas Country Club. And these people that I was with, the Adelitas, they're like, oh yeah, George Bush is here. And I'm like, the president's here. What's he doing here? And they go, oh, he's got some big thing. And I was like, oh, that's great. I hope we get to see him. And, Diane and Jack went, what? Like she's 76, he's 86.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, yeah, I know President Bush. She's like, how do you know President Bush? I said, well, I've known him since he was governor, and TJ got lost in the governor's mansion when we were filming something, and we went upstairs and there's 3-year-old TJ using Jenna's bed as a, what do you call a trampoline? And we find him in the bushes, he takes TJ's hand and he starts kind of jumping with him, and he goes, come on, TJ, it's okay.
Yeah.
So I walk down the hall into this room that had a fireplace where we were going to sit and finish a glass of wine. And somebody goes, Nancy. And I turn around and it's President Bush. And the Adelitas are going bananas. Yeah. And so I walk over, I go, hey, he gives me a hug. He gives me a kiss. There's Laura. I didn't remember how short she was. And I've done so many things for them with them. Mm-hmm. And then he goes, my friend Jim Nance? Because he was doing the game with Tony the next day. And I go, hey, Jim. He goes, you guys know each other? I go, yeah, we know each other. And so he was so loving and so kind. There wasn't I'm sure Secret Service was lurking, but they were not around us. And this is what I love about George Bush. He says, I said something about TJ. And he goes, how is that young man? I said, sir, he's just turned 30. And he's 6'9". He goes, TJ is 6'9". And I went, you haven't seen him in 27 years. Yeah. How did you remember his name? Isn't that amazing?
It's crazy. Yeah.
And I said, well, he goes, did he play college? I go, yeah, he's played pro college. I said, he went to Richmond. He goes, he's a Spider. I go, yeah, he was. He goes, well, it wasn't like Old Dominion. And I'm like, you remember where I went to school?
Yeah.
How about that?
That's pretty cool.
And he's so kind. And, he was riding with the veterans on Veterans Day on that bike race with people who have lost limbs.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like great people. I love amazing people. I love everybody, but I love people who are kind.
Yeah. Well, it's, you have a pretty deep network. So it's pretty cool to hear all the many people that have been in your life, and but it's you always know somebody. It's you're like, oh yeah, I know them. I mean,
I don't know how.
Yeah, well, it's it's just that was your trajectory in life. You've just been in a lot of situations. So, but well, I know you got to get out of here in just a minute, but I got 2 more questions for you. You've worked on a lot of things in your life. What are you working on right now that excites you the most?
Another great story. A question. I am working because I would like to have ownership in an NBA or a W team.
Yeah.
So I'm working hard at that. I've been told it's time for me to get on a board, business board, a paid board with many companies. But I've also been told, just don't do it just for money or just to to say you're on a major board. Do it because, you're an asset to them. But it's the right thing, not because, as David Stern said to me a long time ago, you're going to coach in the NBA. Just don't coach on a team that wants to check a box. Coach on a team that really, admires how hard you've worked and you're a lifer. And I want to apply that to the same thing. I want to get on a corporate board, but I want it to be the right board. So those are the things that I'm working on. I was on a call today working, there's people that want to do my life story, my documentary.
Yeah.
So there's some fun things, but, I want to be a good person every day. I want to be a great mom. I want to be a great friend.
Yeah.
And I want to help people, right? Your legacy is not about what you do for you. It's about what you do for others.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, what's something about Nancy Lieberman most people don't know?
I am a chef.
You are?
Yes. Okay. I love to cook. I've been to cooking school. I've been with Stephen Piles. I've been with Emerald. Matter of fact, I'll go down to New Orleans and go to his restaurant. And one day, I was doing TV for the Oklahoma City Thunder for the Pelicans. And we're down in New Orleans, and this guy comes over and he goes, Miss Lieberman, chef would like to make your acquaintance. And it was Emerald.
Yeah.
And he comes over and just plops down at the table. And he's like, and we just started talking. And he's a Red Sox fan. I'm a Yankee fan. We had to cut that conversation short.
Yeah.
I said, you need to go cook for me now.
Yeah.
Because take that hat off.
Yeah.
But I love to cook.
That's awesome. I didn't know that.
I love that. And I love music. I love the music that you do.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. I was on vacation and you sent me your music. How many songs?
Spotify.
Yeah, Spotify. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
So well, thank
great.
you.
I appreciate that. I was gonna say one thing people don't know about you, in my opinion, is you're kind of like a low key comedian.
Yes.
You're very funny.
I told that TJ thinks I'm not funny. Billy Crystal, I go, I am so funny. And he goes, no, you're not. I just need to be paid for my humor and my sarcasm. and they both I crashed and burned. Yeah. But I do think I'm funny.
I'm telling you.
I wake up like this.
I just noticed sometimes we'll be talking and you'll slip something in and I'm like, wait, what?
Yes, I'm random.
Yeah.
I can't read a joke.
Yeah.
But I am so random in my comedic skills.
Yeah. Well, no, that's cool though. I didn't know you were into cooking that much. That's really cool.
I'm cooking with Matador.
Yeah.
I love real estate.
Yeah, we're doing some things. It's awesome, and got a couple. Yeah, you're on both sides of the house. You're on the industrial and the fun side, so we appreciate your support. And we're sending distributions out tomorrow, so. Congratulations.
Well, I'm here right now. You'll save the stamp.
No. Well, we would just send it. It'll just show up in your bank account. So
you're funny. No, but thank you for what you do, and I love being a part of your community and learning.
Yeah, absolutely.
From the first time I met you, and I meet a lot of financial people always trying to, hey, we got to do this. Yeah. The first time I came in, and Will, you put everything in, I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm at Old Dominion again. And I like comic books. And this was like detailed. Yeah. I was like, oh my gosh. And he's into ROI and percentages and square feet. Yeah. And I turned my head like a little puppy at you. Like, oh, my hamstring, I got to go.
Yeah, no, we have fun in there when we do that. And it's, like we always invite investors to come sit in on that because it's, it's kind of see how the sausage is made, right? It's, I think it's important for people to understand that, we take a lot of time at when we select these things, it went through a pretty big filtering process to get to where we're actually showing it to somebody to say, hey, we're buying this, you should buy it with us. And it's a good process to run through, and it's good exercise for us to always be sharpening that tool, so.
Well, where you excel in this area, I speak all over the world corporately, I'm speaking in 2 weeks to Deloitte or PwC next week in Orlando. Just finished with Cohn Resnick in Boca, and I love it could be Medtronic, it could be all sorts of like. Why are you speaking for a heart company?
Yeah.
Because apparently I have one, and so they felt like there was a connection.
I'm a customer potentially.
Yes. Hey, no,
not yet, potentially.
Okay, but it's not always about the product. It's about how do we get you, the person, to come to work the next day with a different mindset and understand how you can get better at what you do.
Yeah.
And that's what I do.
Yeah.
And I love it because I get to be in so many different arenas with people, whether it's real estate, whether, it's Bitcoin or any of that crazy stuff.
Yeah. Well, at the end of the day, whether it's business or sports, a lot of the fundamentals are the same.
Yes.
It's, there's certain characteristics and traits and disciplines that all apply to all things. And, the good thing that I bet maybe something when you go speak, maybe a lot of these employees have heard these same things before, but maybe that time when you say it to them, it resonates differently, and it grabs a couple people in that room and it helps them that way, So that's why it's important that you do those things.
I like it. I like to be perspective. I like to move people. If I can get you to laugh, if I can get you to have check your motives, if I can give you a little bit of a vision of what you can be, and answer some whys, then that makes me happy.
Yeah.
Because I can be better tomorrow than I was today. Yeah. And a lot of this is about your attitude and your belief. Some people don't believe they can be great.
Yeah. So
they're mired in self-doubt, and some people can hide it. But I'll close on this. Failure, that just says it's okay to fail. Failure is noble.
Yeah.
It means you tried.
Yeah.
And some people never try, and then you become the woulda, coulda, shoulda club, and then you're pointing fingers at other people why you didn't have success, but you didn't believe in you. Ali knew that I didn't love me. I'm going to close on this twice. When he knew I didn't love me, and he taught me, the greatest thing that he ever taught me was how to love me. I decided long ago never to walk in anyone's shadow. If I fail, if I succeed, at least I'll live as I believe. No matter what they take from me, they can't take away my integrity.
Yeah.
They can't take away my hope, because the greatest love is inside of me. And when I learned to love me, everything changed in my life, in my marriage, in being a mom, in business. And a lot of people don't love themselves.
Yeah. No, I very spot on. I think a lot of people don't have self-belief in themselves a lot of the time. That's what, some people ask me like, because I share a lot of what we do, and they're like, are you concerned about people knowing your secrets? I'm like,
no,
tell them to do it. Like, I believe we can do this. I don't know if someone else believes they can do that. And if they can, great. Whatever. So, but no, that's it's very true. You have to believe in yourself, and to do anything in life, and that's why you take steps and you take chances and stuff. So
true. Thanks for having me on your
absolutely
show here.
Thank you for being here. I know you got a busy schedule. You probably have more frequent flyer miles than anyone I know. So
I'm 5 million miles on American Airlines. I don't know if that's good or not.
Yeah.
But they're very nice to me.
Yeah. Well, we'll link everything up to the Nancy Lieberman charities too as well. So if anybody's looking to support that, that's something, it's very, getting to go to the Dream Ball and see how impactful it is on the kids there is really cool. So I encourage anybody to look into that as well. So, well, Nancy Lieberman, everybody, thanks for being here.
Thank you.